Hey buddy, watch this.
Hello, Regis Gilbin is the name, and Hearthstone is the game. And this is a pretty interesting little deck, the Reno Hunter, as created by the professional player Zalae. Hunter, of course, right now in the mean streets of Gadget Zan era is not a particularly popular deck. In fact, it's a class that you never, ever see on the ranked ladder. It's virtually non-existent along with Paladin. So if you've got some Hunter quests you're wanting to do, if you're trying to play something unusual, unique, this is a very fun, interesting, and incredibly unusual take on Hunter. Because, you know, most Hunter decks rely on the inevitability of their damage and the burst that they provide and the early game presence. So they're not traditionally control decks. They're usually more aggressive or mid-range style decks. This, of course, as a Reno style deck, is a control deck in many ways. It still has some pressure that can be applied, but it's really about surviving until the late game, pulling off crazy combos, big plays, particularly thanks to cards like Reno Jackson, of course, which can give you that life-saving heal, but also with cards like N'Zoth the Corruptor. This is your win condition in this deck, since you do have so many high-value Death Rattle minions available to Hunter, specifically the Savannah Highmane, the Infested Wolf, and other little minions that just traditionally synergize with Hunter, like Huge Toad, Kindly Grandmother. Even the Infested Tauren works his way into this deck just because he's a nice little taunt that helps you stabilize in the mid-game. With all those kinds of minions, suddenly you've got a really nice board anytime you play N'Zoth, and it's very difficult for your opponents to remove it, even with hyper-efficient removal with things like Twisting Nether. Savannah Highmane, those kinds of cards are very resistant to removal. Unlike other traditional Death Rattle cards like Sylvanas, which even if you resummon her, if they have a Twisting Nether, for instance, she just dies again and you don't necessarily gain any value. These minions are so sticky and so annoying in what they accomplish that it's much harder for your opponent to actually deal with your N'Zoth, even in hyper control versus control style matchups. So this deck has some answers to aggro style as well, just with early game minions. Things like Hunter's Mark to remove those nasty 4-mana 7/7s that tend to come out from time to time. Just direct damage like Quick Shot, Kill Command, a bow to tidy up the board, all kinds of things like Power Shot too, and Explosive Shot to help you stabilize in the early/mid game with fancy removal spells like this too. And I think the greatest asset of this deck in total is that it's just so unusual to both see Hunter and so surprising to see a Reno Hunter that your opponents are basically never going to know how to mulligan against you. And when they finally do decide to mulligan against you, most likely they're going to mulligan against a more aggressive style of play. So they'll probably pick the wrong kinds of cards and give you that advantage that helps you survive in the early game until you eventually overwhelm in the late game. So this deck does really interesting, neat, fancy things. It's a lot of fun to play just because it's so unusual and surprising, and it's a different take on the meta. So I highly encourage you check this deck out, give it a shot. And that said, I'm going to do the exact same by taking it out onto the ranked ladder right now. So take one last look at this deck list from Hunter's Mark down to Infested Tauren, and then from Infested Wolf down to N'Zoth the Corruptor. And that said, let's go ahead and jump out onto the ranked ladder. This is incredibly early in the season. In fact, it's still day 2, so I haven't yet ranked up at all since last season. I think I've played like 2 games, and that's it. So we'll jump right into rank 17 play now. That might seem like it's not too exciting to compete at rank 17, but this is still so early in the season that rank 17 will have good decks, legend-level players, people who are coming back a little late this month, and just getting started on the ladder. So I'm sure we'll still see some competitive decks and competitive play. Did I just queue up the wrong Hunter? I don't think there's a Stranglethorn Tiger in this deck. I think I was testing a goofy Hunter deck. I think I queued up the wrong Hunter, guys. Somebody, you guys are going to know. Yeah, there's no explosive trap. So, sorry about that. We'll just go ahead and concede. I could edit that out, but there's no reason not to, and share my embarrassment with you guys and share my shame. So, let's click the right deck this time. Not the Custom Hunter, but the Reno Hunter by Zalae. Well, like, don't you love giving free wins away to people? I just made somebody's day. I was going to say, I don't remember Stranglethorn Tiger in this deck at all. Must be a mistake, but the trap confirmed that there are no traps in the Reno Hunter, believe it or not, despite the fact that there is an Eaglehorn boat, which is an interesting inclusion by Zalae. So this is a Paladin. We happen to find the other class that no one's playing in the ladder, so I have no idea what he's about, but I like the 3-4 curve here into Barnes, because Barnes can hit so many good targets in this deck. I don't know that the quick shot's going to be completely necessary, but I'll keep it just because it is removal and we have some minions. We weren't very aggressive for an early drop, like a 1 or a 2 drop. So if this is a really, really fast deck, I might regret that. But that's one of the downsides of not knowing what is normally played by your opponent at a given rank. So this is actually, I guess, the first time in like 2 months that a Hunter and a Paladin have faced off. So you'll see the tracking there. A lot of people might want to use the mana on turn 1 to use that tracking. The problem, of course, is that we don't really know what we need from tracking, so I don't think it's advantageous for us to play it. It's just going to cycle us into a card that may or may not be helpful. We didn't even know what kind of deck it is. Now we have a little bit more information. I think we'll go ahead and Eaglehorn bow this down. It's a fine, efficient way to deal with it. We could go for an Animal Companion, but it's not really a great roll. If we get a Huffer, he just gets a pretty efficient trade. The other two aren't even that exciting either, so let's just go ahead and Eaglehorn bow. We can Huffer next turn. This also gives us more options to deal with his next play, whatever it might be. For a 3-mana Dragon Paladin, I don't know. He might play the 3-5 Blackwing Tech. Who knows what we're going to see. Oh, the Templar, cool. You don't see that every day, but it's a decent removal option for us. The problem now, of course, is that Huffer is a pretty bad roll here. Yeah, that's alright. We'll still go for the damage. It clears his minions, probably. And Barnes will be a nice play. We still have a lot of good stuff in our deck for Barnes to hit. There's only a few really bad minions, like Houndmaster, for instance, is just useless. But if we hit High Main, Ragnaros, like there's so much good stuff that Barnes can roll on. Curator would have been a bad one, probably a little better than average thanks to Taunt, but this can be such a big hit for us. Oh, yeah. Hit this guy, Rag. Hit this guy, Rag. Either way, it's 8 damage to face. That's actually not bad. Because we're a Hunter, our hero power provides some inevitability, and like we'll eventually do enough damage to kill him if we survive long enough, which is very likely. So, interestingly, this Rag probably saves our Barnes, unless he has a True Silver Champion or something of the sort. He's probably just going to play Dragon Consort's my guess. But he can't trade into this, because he has to kill the Rag with the minion. If that had just been a low-value minion, it means this guy would have died. So, actually a pretty significant development there. So, Sir Finley, right? It's interesting. Normally I'd like Sir Finley in this kind of matchup where we can get more value out of our hero power, like a ping effect, or maybe armor to stabilize, heal to heal minions. Like there's other ways to get value, but we've already hit this guy to 18, and I think he's probably not running heals since he's a dragon deck and not a super control style deck. So I don't know if I want to lose my hero power. I kind of think I like this hero power right now. So I think I'm going to track instead. We have 4 mana left, so there's something we can hit. We won't have to throw away a Reno. If we have to throw away a N'Zoth, it could punish us, but let's just see what we get. I think Dispatch Kodo's got to be the answer here. It's so good at killing the Fairy Dragon. It leaves this alive, but we can still kill this guy. It's Call of the Wild's too far away. Grandmother doesn't set up any plays right now. So let's just take the Dispatch Kodo. And I'm actually, I guess, going to go face with this guy. There's really no reason for me to kill this 1-drop necessarily. Either way he trades into either of these guys, the other one could clean up the board. So just applying more pressure to the face could be significant. Particularly when I have, theoretically, 8 damage in hand. Plus 2 here is already 10 damage. So we can probably just apply enough pressure that it really freaks him out. Whoa, that's a good draw. Wow. Is this lethal? Probably not, but by God, it's close. That's 5, 7, 12. I think I just go for it, right? So now he has to either kill me, even if he clears the board, I kill him next turn, so he has to have a big heal or kill me, and he only has, 8 damage on board, 7 mana. There's no way we're dead. Consecration clears the board, which is good, but he has to heal, so it's not relevant. We have 5 in hand. Looks like this is just a win. Yeah, that won't do it. Cool. Yeah. Made the right call there. Just understanding what his deck was about, understanding there's likely no heals, means you can do things like that. And we were able to keep up with the board well enough that that worked out in our favor. Being able to make those kinds of plays. If he'd gotten the board earlier, applied more pressure to us, if we'd been at like 12 health, we maybe couldn't have made that play. We would have had to trade. But since we were able to keep up, stay even, force him to make trades, apply pressure, and put him on the back foot as opposed to ourselves, that enabled that kind of victory, essentially. So, this is probably an aggressive warrior. I actually don't hate this hand. This is pretty good against early minions. This can provide me a taunt or like a kill on a Frothing Berserker. This is good against stuff too. I could get greedier, but there's just not that many 1-drops in this deck or like early game cards that are defensively minded. So if I mulligan away any of these, I risk losing that good curve and just falling farther and farther behind. You could try to hard mulligan for Reno, but I think Reno is still a losing battle if you play Reno and they just have a giant board of stuff that you haven't yet addressed. So that makes me nervous. I'd rather just keep my curve and try to play it straight. Not a pirate deck, I suppose. He probably wouldn't be going for lesser heal in any way, shape, or form, but maybe he's just I don't know what this hero power selection is. Very intriguing. I have no idea what that actually signals. What does that mean? Just healed out, I guess? I don't... What's he got here? This will tell us more. Whoa, it is a pirate deck! Why did he choose? He must have a weapon here. Firewax. No, heroic. This is such an unusual hero power to choose. My goodness. I am flabbergasted. I mean, what... Even if the other two options were armor up and anything else, I don't think this is the right choice. So Huffer's the worst roll here, far and away. That's probably the best roll, especially since he just heroic striked. I might have to send every minion into that. Barnes is a great draw too. I suspect we'll play Barnes as opposed to the Dispatch Kodo because we don't really need a life-saving clear just yet. He had the other heroic strike. Well, okay. That's fine. Barnes can just hit big enough that, that we can play the Dispatch Kodo on a future turn. This trades into more stuff, gets me more stats on the board. Dispatch Kodo on the 2-1 is certainly intriguing. It's not the worst idea I've ever seen. Oh, I was getting ready to say, if there's a small-time Buccaneer, I'll probably Dispatch Kodo just because it's worth so much damage. And I think that Reno means that we cannot lose this game. He's already used 8 burst damage to deal with my minions. We're not even that far behind on the board. His hero power is a heal. I don't think we can lose this game. There's almost no way for us to lose. Once again, using his weapons on removal means that we're in a good spot. What's he gonna... Oh, he's gonna heal and then trade. Okay, that's right. Thought he might spend that mana on something else. Unleash the Hounds would be a decent play, but Barnes is fine too. I mean, we have enough health that we have time. It's not like... and we have a Reno in 2 turns, so... Rat Pack is sort of intriguing, but, the hero power is sort of useless here, so I'd rather just float a mana and play Barnes and hope to get something really valuable here. So we hit one of the only 0 cards, basically. Houndmaster is totally useless. He has no extra effect. Rat Pack is even good because it's a 1-1 that summons a 1-1. Rag, obviously, we saw the value there. Yeah, he just keeps playing little stuff. Using his charges on our minions, that's fine. He made a mistake there, didn't he? He didn't attack yet with a South Sea deckhand. Yeah, unless he has another weapon, he's about to load up. Whoa! That is not the card I expected to see at all. Jeez Louise. That's cool, though. It's actually annoying for me to deal with, to tell you the truth. I might actually roll for the Deadly Shot on it. I don't know when else I'm going to use Deadly Shot. He's out of cards. He's always going to have a few minions here. It's a 1 in 4. I don't have anything else to do with my mana anyway. Let's just see what happens. Yeah, worst target, but just relying on Reno to win the game here. Reno into Rag. He'll probably make more trades, though. It looks like to me he's going to trade into this. It'll give me 2 1/1s. This will be at 4 health, so I still won't be able to kill it very efficiently. I hope he goes all face and gives my Reno a ton of value. That'd be great news. Oh, what a turn 6 for a Pirate Warrior. Oh, that's a little better, but not particularly great still. So he has 8, 10, 12 damage on board. I guess I actually have to Reno here. It makes me a little bit nervous, honestly. Just because he's going to be able to pop me right back to 18. But, it's the only way I can really guarantee I live through the turn. Or live through next turn. Could attack, but I don't think it's right just yet. It sets up the Reno trade for sure, but can play Rag into Call the Wild. That's likely enough to ensure that I win, but I'm actually a little nervous unless I find a taunt. Just like cards like that, for instance, can be really scary. Oh my goodness, this is actually precarious. I don't know how, but this is sort of scary. It's really weird that he didn't trade more. So unusual. So let's see, that doesn't help at all. Rag has a good shot to clear something valuable here. The question is, do I actually want to just go ahead and not attack? If I attack, I remove 5 damage, but I add 4 back to the Frothing Berserker. But it also increases the chances that Rag hits the Frothing Berserker. So let's see, I do 5. I remove 5 damage, but he gets 4 here, so that becomes an 8-4. I can trade into Rag, but I don't care about that. If I get the next turn, I'm going to win off Call the Wild regardless. So I guess trading is the right call. Just because it's the same amount of... It actually takes away 1 extra damage and gives Rag a much better likelihood of doing something. I could lose. He has 11 plus 2 is 13. Like, there's a chance we're dead. I can't believe it. Like, how? Oh, good, he's trading. That means we're probably not dead. That cost him 1 damage if it... Trade into Rag. Like, that would be the wrong play, but by God, it'd make me real happy. Whew! So we're alive, barely. Do we have a guaranteed lethal at all? No, we certainly don't. Is this better than this? No, I have to kill... I have to kill the Frothing Berserker, I think, with... Am I just dead, though, to this? No, I'm not. I'm certainly not. I'm most likely alive. Rag hitting one of these would be awesome. Ragnaros! Dude! That might have got me killed, Rag. Any damage kills me now, because he can just... Like, Rag! Kill a minion! Ugh. Rag to the face twice when I need minion clears. That's a good sign. Oh! Thank God! So do I have a guaranteed lethal here? Yeah, I do thanks to this. Wow. So we're gonna go down to 1 health. God almighty. Like, we almost lost this game. Ugh. Just nothing lined up right. Everything was a mana off. Everything felt weird. The Frothing Berserker was really well timed. Whew. Rag really had a hard on for face, so that was scary. Like, we narrowly escaped with our life against a guy that I feel like was not playing particularly optimally and had some really bad luck. That honestly makes me question the viability of this deck, and that a game that seemed unlosable, we almost lost. Perhaps we Reno'd a little early, but I don't think so, because he was like 3 damage off lethal if we hadn't Reno'd. So just, he was right in that middle ground where he wasn't all in on us, and Reno only got like half value, so it didn't shut him out of the game. It was kind of scary. So for the mulligan there, it's a Paladin. It's crazy that I've seen 2 today. It's unheard of, but we don't need things like tracking. We just want to look for early minions that can get us out onto the board and start generating us some board value. So don't need to coin out King Zalae, by the way. Doesn't really accomplish much. We have some really good 4-drops that we want to coin out, so we can coin 4 into 4. This is pretty bad into Loot Hoarder, obviously, because it's a value trade for him. Jungle Panther. This has to be like a Curator Menagerie Paladin, then, if he's running beasts like that. That's cool. Respect, dude. Rank 17 has provided some interesting stuff already. So we'll play the Barnes here. A 1-1 is pretty good against Divine Shield, and the 3 can't trade into the 4 very efficiently, whereas it can trade it into the Infested Wolf. Rag is all about this video right now. That's actually probably the best outcome. Popping the Divine Shield is marginally significant, but 8 damage, much like we saw against the last Paladin, can really start to add up in this kind of game. So it looks like the Infested Wolf here is a little bit better than the Infested Tauren, simply because the 1-1s still threaten the 3-1, and we don't necessarily need a taunt by any means, so this just feels like the smarter play. We might see a good explosive shot come down here if he plays like Dragon Consort or something and goes face. Can kill both minions. Technically be up on the board a little bit. Oh, whoa! I don't think that's good. He just spent 4 mana to kill the second half of a 4-mana card. I don't like that play at all, guys, just for the record. So I guess in case that's like a Repentance or whatever, we'll play the 1-1 first. But see, now we have even more little token guys out. Like that Consecration, he must have just had nothing else to do. So I think a Hero Power would have been better, though, to save that asset. That just seemed so premature to me. Just my recommendation. I certainly can't read his hand. Ooh, a lot of minions. That's scary. So yeah, this is like a hand buff stealth deck. It's cool. I like it. I respect it, man. So we'll just play our own giant dude out here, I guess. I actually prefer my... That's got to be a redemption, right? Even if it is, I guess we have to do it. It's just going to be another exact copy, but I'd rather that than something else. And we can go ahead and open this guy up too. We saw the Consecration. We know that's 3 minions. So these are likely to live and get some value. It's better on that than a Tyrion, for instance, right? We got to be careful what we redeem here. So we got a pretty nasty board. He can't even really avoid it because he's like close to dead sort of already. Well, he's going to avoid it. So 9, 11, 14, 16 damage next turn. The right card kills him, I think. Not quite dead, though. So what do we want to kill here? We can pop that. We can pop that. We can dispatch Kodo that. And we can go face for 9. That feels pretty good. We can even Eaglehorn, too. Oh man, I hope I didn't have lethal. 5, this is 5 damage. 9 is 14, 15, 16. No, we had 16 either way we looked at it, I guess. Is there any chance we're dead? That's like Leroy for 7. It's 13, 14. Leroy plus a weapon, maybe. Like, I guess I'm gonna do this just because I don't think it reduces the chances that I'm gonna get lethal, and might slightly increase the chance I have of living this turn. So it seems like it's actually worth it. Double blessing doesn't do it. Oh my god, he's gonna double the attack. You're kidding me. Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. That's what happens, guys. Well, that guy's going to win 1 out of 11 games, roughly, with that deck, I think. So we happen to be the 1 out of 11. That's life sometimes. Okay. I mean, I like it. It's creative. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on the unusual deck. It's fun. It's just, you know, those are the kinds of decks that rarely win. So it always feels just a little bit sour when you're on the wrong end of a deck that you know almost never wins games, but you happen to be the one where the combo lined up. We could have actually played a taunt minion that turn, I guess, just to prevent shenanigans, but I don't know. 16 seemed so safe. So safe. So this is probably a Jade Druid. In which case, killing him is a nice option. So Sir Finley makes me really nervous. We might have to play more of the mid-range game. Life tap would be pretty exciting, but again, I just don't know if this is worth it, giving up my my damage. We could draw into like a ping that you know cuts our damage in half, but I don't know. Feral Rage denies damage a little bit with the 8 health heal. I don't know how much I like Finley in this deck. I know that it's nice to counter some early pirates, and it gives you options in control style matchups. I don't know. Maybe it's not Jade, though. Maybe it's Token or Beast. Life tap is always good, so it's fine. We'll life tap it out. That'll give us access to damage in the late game, too. I don't think it's like a token beast or egg or anything. He would have already gotten out on the board probably a little. Oh, I guess he's only had 1 turn. Never mind. He probably wouldn't have. Innervate Mire Keeper. Okay, we can kill that with a weapon. That feels like fine play. Keep these minions rolling into face. That doesn't really tell me much about his deck. This is not a card you normally see a lot of. I think it's an underrated card. It kind of lost some favor with Mean Streets of Gadgets and the new Druid styles, but it's still a good card at its core. So, we have a couple ways to kill that. We could Kodo it, but we could also just trade. So, I think we'll just try to Barnes into something really nice here again. It doesn't do much for us. It actually kind of reveals our hand. So that was the right way to do that, of course, is we want to see if the Death Rattle hits before we send in the Sir Finley. Keep this minion alive if we can. Swipe is okay here, but all right. Yeah, let's save the Kodo here. It doesn't do much because we can just weapon trade in Zathan and be fine. So let's Animal Companion, see what we roll into. It might make a difference. That's a fine outcome. Oh, I should have life tapped first. I was thinking I was going to hit face for 2. I forgot that we have a life tap. Wouldn't have changed our play, thankfully, but that was technically a slight error. So we're hammering this guy pretty hard so far as damage is concerned. We have 5 in hand. It's actually technically 7 in hand, but not yet. Wrath Swipe, I think, is what we're going to see here. Wrath for 1 swipe. I don't really want to play this. It's kind of a lame minion to play on its own. But I can get 2 guys out and do extra damage, so I suppose I will. It's not exactly the minion you want to play proactively. It's much more of a reactive minion. But thanks to tracking and kill command, we might just be able to kill him soon. This is 5, 7, 8, 9. If this dies, it becomes 2 more, so it's like 11. Tracking into quick shot, for instance, might give me lethal this turn. There's outs, certainly. Although he's likely to clear our board a little bit. Still, we're applying so much pressure that it's going to be tough for him. He can't even hero power this. Unleash the Hounds doesn't do it yet. Should I go ahead and let's just go ahead and tracking. Like, we can either pick a big minion to play soon or just go for the kill. Curator, I guess, is too good to pass up, but it leaves me with nothing to do this turn other than, I guess, life tap is fine. So yeah, we'll go ahead and pick Curator. But this could give me so many things to kill him soonish, right? So I like, do I go for it now, or do I play the value game a little bit? I guess minions are hard for Druids to deal with, so we'll go ahead and play the value game. That's a good draw, just because we needed something to play that was annoying to deal with. And that's exactly what that is. So great life tap draw there. And if he plays minions, it gives us damage. If he leaves a beast up, which is very likely, it gives us damage. This has got to be like an Aviana Cthulhu type thing, or an Aviana Malagos type thing, simply because he's drawing so many cards. Which means he's probably just dead next turn. I think he's going to have trouble surviving here. Not a lot of mana to work with. Not a lot of health to work with. We have 6 on board. This is 5 for 11. So even if he hero powered here, that certainly helps. Deadly Shot would be amazing. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. No complaints from me, boys. Off the top, Deadly Shot for the win. That's called calling your Deadly Shot. Calling your Deadly Shot. Alright, so that's pretty cool. That's going to do it for me in the Reno Hunter by Zalae. I think we went 3-1. And the one that we lost felt a little bit like it was stolen out from under us, although we barely won that Warrior game against incredible odds. Somehow we almost snatched defeat out of the jaws of victory. So all that said, still a pretty cool deck. We never actually got to see N'Zoth because these games went a little too fast. But I like this one a lot. Like I said, it's interesting with a Hunter like this. You can sometimes just apply enough pressure to win. And we saw that a lot. Like, we just have damage in minions, and it can hit people really hard. But there's still that fallback that if you need it in a control-style matchup, you can hit the N'Zoth and still win games. So I think this is a neat little deck. I might be trying this out some more. I don't know that it's certainly the most competitively viable deck ever. It needs more testing for me. I'm sure Zalae plays it even better than I do, though, so maybe he's found a nice little way to make this thing succeed. All that said, if you have any thoughts, comments, or questions about the Reno Hunter by Zalae, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, game on.